Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message it comes from a translation of a voice note that I received. The message reads like this: Hello, my brother. How are you? I am now working as a truck driver, but the story that I want to share with you, it is a story that happened. It was, I think, in 2012. That is when this story happened. My brother, I used to work in the construction industry, but there was this other project that was called RDP, whereby the government was building RDP houses for poor people. So usually those people that used to build these houses, they were people from Zim like me. And for us to get paid, it was always a struggle. We used to work in this other area that is called Zebediela. We were building some RDP houses in that area. So when I went there, it was because my boss, whom I had working for when I was in Pretoria, he had refused to pay us because I was working as a security guard and we had gone for more than 3 months without receiving any salary at all. Then there was this other man who had promised me lots and lots of money. He was almost like one of the people who was controlling that company. So he came from the location where I was staying there in Pretoria. So when he heard that I was suffering, he said, if you want to work, the next time around, I'll collect you, then you will start working. When I arrived in that area called Sibetiela, I started working with other people that were from Zim. We used to work almost throughout the night because we were chasing a target. What was happening in that project is that for you to earn money, you had to build as many houses as possible. I was working in the plastering department and we were working like hell on earth. Then at the end of the day, the money was not coming at all. So when I saw that the money was not coming, I then started going around doing some piece jobs. But unfortunately, there was no one who could offer me piece jobs. I even went to this other farm that is there in Zebediela that even cultivate grapes for wine making. When I went there, I then got a job. And whilst I was working on that farm, my brother, that was when I fell in love with someone else's wife. And with that woman, the way that we fell in love, she started telling me that her husband was a man who kept on cheating on her. She said that even when they were still in high school, her husband kept on cheating on her. This man, he was not staying in that same area as Ebediela. No, he was working in Gauteng. Here and there, he would come and check up on her. So she was complaining that she was even afraid to touch her phone because whenever she would touch her phone, she would read so many messages and she would see that her husband is always cheating on her. So she just wanted peace of mind, and I was the right guy to give her peace of mind because I was not asking for anything but love from her. My brother, I started giving this woman money and I was taking care of her each and every fortnight. When I would have gotten my salary, sometimes I would even sacrifice all of that money that I would have gotten to give everything to her, and maybe she would only give me something like 100 rands. And what she would do is that she would go and buy some food for me, and the rest of the money she would keep it. I was really in love with this woman, and we started talking, and she started telling me that she wanted to have a child for me. But after a husband had returned back from Gauteng, I then saw that this woman, she was just using me, and I was really heartbroken. You know, when you have started loving someone, you can't even control your emotions anymore. What I would do, Brother Nanshi, is that when her husband would have come home from Gauteng to visit his family, I would go to that woman's place and I would just stand next to the window, listening to them as they will be speaking. And whenever they will be making love, I would start to cry because I would start to imagine all of the wonderful things that she would do in bed when she was with me. That was when a thought entered into my heart. I said, this woman, I am the one who is taking care of her, because that man, all that he would do is that he would just come so that he can sleep with her. He would never leave her with money to buy food for the kids or anything. I was almost like the man of the house, because whenever he would have returned back to Gauteng, I used to stay with his wife in his house, and I was responsible for buying the food and everything. So this really broke me down. I then visited this other woman. I don't know if she is still staying there in Zebediela. She was from Zim as well, but she was a very powerful prophet. I even saw her assisting a lot of local people there in Zebediela. Some of the people that were sick, like that were mentally ill, whenever they were brought to her, they would return back to their homes feeling okay, being able to live life like normal human beings. Even though I had approached her, but I was scared because she was really expensive. Because we were hearing stories like there was this other man who approached her, and that man, he was having two of his daughters that were mentally ill. Then that woman said that it was very easy for her to cure that man's children, but all that she wanted from that man was for that man to give her the buggy that he was driving. And after a long time, that man then returned and gave her the buggy and the keys and the papers. That was when that powerful prophet started to pray for that man's daughters. And after 2 hours, they were able to speak normally, and they started living like normal human beings again. So when I approached her, I was very doubtful. And when I told her my story, she just said that since I was from Zim, she was not going to charge me a lot of money, because her policy was that for the Holy Spirit to come down, there was money that was needed to be placed on this other plate which she used. And if you did not place any money, then the Holy Spirit will not come down. So she said, all that I'm going to charge you is for the services of the Holy Spirit. So I took out 100 rand. Back in those days, 100 rand was quite a lot of money. I then placed it in that wooden plate. Then she started speaking in these other tongues, and her face changed, and she became something so scary. That was when she said, there is a message that has been revealed to me, and we are supposed to go to this other dam. I have forgotten the name of that dam, but it is a very popular dam in that area of Zebediela. A lot of people, when they want to do their ceremony, they go to that dam. That is where me and that woman went, and she gave me some water. She told me that the water that she had taken from that dam, what I was supposed to do is that when I will be with that woman who had been using all of my money, and still she didn't want to have a child with me or to run away with me, all that I had to do is that when I was about to go and see her, I had to wash my face with that water, and anything that I was going to say, it was going to happen. So the next time around, my brother, when I went to visit that woman, this was on the payday. I went there after I had washed my face with that water that we had taken from that dam. And immediately when she saw me, she started crying. I asked her why she was crying. She said that when she looked at me, she felt so sorry for me, and she felt like her heart was breaking to pieces. I said, why are you feeling so sorry for me? That was when she said that it is because of the things that I have been doing to you. I love you more than your husband. Is it possible that we can run away from this place? And is there any place where we can go and stay together? Don't you have any of your brothers that is here in South Africa? That was when I thought that in Cape Town there was this other brother of mine, but we are not related. We just say brothers to each other because we have the same surname. I said, let me try to find someone whom I can speak with, then we can run away. My brother, after I had spoken with that guy who was from Zim, who was in Cape Town, who was also working on a farm that was cultivating grapes. He said it is good season for you to travel to Cape Town, because if you come here, you are going to get hired. I then told that South African woman my plan, and she said, "How much do you have?" I showed her the money that I had, and she said that it was going to be enough. That was when we ran away from Zebediela. I feel so sorry, because that woman, I made her to run away from home, yet she had kids that were really small. Her eldest kid was doing grade 5 at that time, and her youngest one, she was not even going to school. But in that moment, I was feeling jealousy and I was so selfish. We then ran away from Zebediela and we found ourselves in Cape Town. For 2 years that I stayed with her in Cape Town, she had totally forgotten about her kids, until I saw that these things that I was doing, they were not okay at all. And when I returned back to Zim, since me and her, we had failed to have a baby together. That was when I met my current wife. After I had slept with her, when I wanted to return back to South Africa, she told me that she was feeling dizzy and vomiting. We then found out that she was pregnant. So I stayed for a very long time in Zim, switched off my phones and everything. After I had gotten a license, I then returned back to South Africa, but I was now staying in another province. And there was even a time when I was madly in love with that woman that I ran away with to Cape Town. I even thought of destroying her husband using some charms. But I just wanted to thank God that whenever I would think about it, because when we were in Cape Town, he used to call me and he would threaten me and he would say that he was going to hire someone that was going to find me and kill me. So whenever he would say that he would hire someone, I would even think of returning back home and going to Chipinge so that I can find a traditional healer that can make this man to run mad. But whenever I would think of going to Chipinge to get some charms to make this man to run mad, I would say, but what am I doing? In the first place, I am the one who stole his wife, and I am the one who used some charms on his wife so that his wife can go crazy in love with me. Now that he is complaining, I want to use more charms on him so that he can run mad. That was the only thing that stopped me until I felt so guilty. I then said that this woman, since I used a lot of charms on her, there is nothing on earth that can separate her from me. It is only I. My decision was the only thing that can stop her from loving me. And the moment that I was going to remove myself from the picture, then she was going to come back to her senses. That was why when I came back home to Zim, as difficult as it was, because I knew that from the moment that she was going to find out that I didn't even love her anymore, it was going to destroy her, because what she would be feeling in her heart, it was not going to be normal pain, but spiritual pain. Because usually when you date someone that is using charms against you, you can feel it that this person, the things that they are doing to you, they are not natural, but there will be a spirit that will be controlling your heart. And even though I knew that she was going to be in that spiritual pain, but I had to do it so that she can return back to her kids, because I knew that they needed their mother more than I needed her to become my wife. So I dumped her and I returned back home and I got married. And now I am working as a truck driver. But whenever it happens that the Lord that I would be having makes me to pass through Zebediela, it always pains me. Sometimes when I am passing through the area where she stays, I look to the side. I do not even want to look at that area where I know that she stays, because I just feel like there will be tears in my eyes knowing the pain that I caused in her life. And I wonder if it happens that one day I come across her, what will happen between me and her. I once searched for her on Facebook and I found out that indeed she is there on Facebook, but she does not have any friends on Facebook. So I don't know if she only created a Facebook account and stopped using Facebook at all. I don't know what is the story there.